Hey guys, and we are back.
Are we
Sorry
back?
about the
we're
break,
doing the dance.
but we needed it, and so did the stream. And thank you, Mike, for that beautiful dance, and Jess. Everybody dance. I'll dance too, even though my camera's not working.
Wait! You got to say the thing
You better
first.
be dancing,
It's got
Andrew.
everybody dance now.
Bum, 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 bum. All right. Okay.
Critical.
Speaking of dancing, no, not speaking of dancing. Okay, so before we went down, we were talking about the genius as Matthew Mercer,
I should get rid of that.
and we're going to pick right up where we left off. We were talking about his adaptability,
The
and
amazing
Jess, you brought up a
Matthew,
good
yeah.
point about critical troll.
Yeah. I just wanted to say, like, even if I know there's a lot of people that weren't super big fans of that episode, and I get it, although I personally loved it and was like in stitches the whole time. But I think it just goes to show you like Matt's capability and his strength, because I mean, he already has enough to deal with. Like, sometimes, you know, the party throws things at him and he has to clearly has to make stuff up on the spot. I think he always talks about like 25% of it is planning and 75% ends up being like impromptu. And in that episode, people were donating to send crazy stuff at them, and he dealt with it and he figured something out for everything. And he even I think someone tried to incite an encounter, and I think it was people trolls riding in on the backs of tigers or something, and he made them be like an illusion or something like that. But it just that episode really showed his strength and his ability to just come up with stuff on the fly and make anything work. And I think it just shows out how amazing he is.
Yeah, I won't lie. I wasn't a particular fan of the Critical Rejects. I know it's a very minority opinion, but when I started watching the Critical Troll, and it was all right, and then just stuff started going not really enjoying this anymore. So I clicked away, but I still had TweetDeck up, so I was seeing people's reaction to what was going on, and it was just oh my god, someone just donated money and this happened, and I'm like, wait, are they actually doing this? So I went back and I started watching, and every other thing that popped up, and I actually started to like it pretty much through the creativity of the donations on top of how Matt would actually integrate it into the story. Mm-hmm. So it was enough to make it.
Were they all singing? And even Matt was singing every piece of dialogue he had. Yep. How whether you like that stuff or not, it was amazing.
Yeah.
Well, it's impressive when you consider all the skills that are required in order to improvise that much, because you have to be very familiar with the rules. You have to know where you're allowed to break the rules and where you can, on the fly allow or disallow things. Then you go into his actor training and the singing and seriously, just all of it, just all the stuff he's managed to create on the spot and flip right to the book and it's oh yeah, this is on this page, and oh yeah, you guys are going to die because the deck of many things is now in play. And
that was crazy. That was so good.
Yeah. I agree.
Also, I mean, we can also bring up the non voice acting factor, which is it was episode 12, where the actual episode where Critical Rejects happened.
Oh yeah.
But even before he did the whole improv thing of I'm just gonna we're just going with the seat of our pants, and we're just gonna figure out as we go. Even before that, where it was the explanation, it was I'm going to explain everything to the best of my ability. And I want to know if that was his idea to do that or not. Because I remember they said they were going to, there was almost all of the cast was going to be at a convention or something, and they needed something to do. So that's where episode 12 came from. But just the fact that they set it up and he went through and he explained everything that you would have to think about, everything that you would have to deal with being a DM. And I feel like not a lot of people do that. So to see him actually take the time to think about what would be said and what questions other people might have and just answer them right out.
Yeah, I love that episode so much. So good.
Right, and it was a good episode, and I think you asked if Matt, came up with that, and I think after all the Q&As where he's like, yeah, I would really like to actually answer these questions because a lot of these require an entire episode for me to go into detail. And, he's able to give out a few suggestions through the FAQs, but, or I guess not frequently asked, but the Q&As. But yeah, it was great for him to be able to kind of let loose from the DM side of you and kind of show all of us, including creating a golem, which, a level 2 party has no business fighting a golem, but he made one that made sense for them to fight. And that was awesome. And we know that he improvised the entire thing. It was great watching his mind at work, even way before the Extra Life episode. It's like, okay, we know he's making up all of this, and let's see how he does. And it goes back to, he's very familiar with the rules. He knows where to, he knows how to create a draw or create a hook. And it was very entertaining, including the zaniness of, Vox Moronica and their unlucky dice.
I don't know, I think his best moment was when he pulled the Witcher costume out for Halloween.
Oh my God.
I was just like, fucking hell.
That was absurd.
I know, but
That was next level.
he'd been posting on Twitter little pieces of like, I'm working on something. I'm like, what's that? I think I said, is that a horse saddle? It doesn't look very comfy, or something like that. And when you saw the whole thing, it's like, okay, it was a bit, Batman suit, you couldn't move in it, but other than that, it looked amazing.
I think one of my favorite things about that episode in particular was that there wasn't a single Matt face palm in that episode. And I think it was because he could not move.
I like when Zach asked him to grab the swords, and he was like,
yeah. So is that real? It comes out, yeah. Okay, not so much.
Well, while we're talking about Matthew Mercer, we have to talk about his NPCs. I know a lot of people are very... we talked a little bit about him because we have to as a storyteller. He is all of the characters, and he's done an amazing job portraying people who he is not in real life. But, everybody has to have their favorites. So, Paul, I'll go and let you start us off.
Okay, my favourite's got to be Lady Delilah Briarwood, because she was an NPC, but there was the moment when Matt was playing her and he, pulled out I broke the world for you, Silas. And at that moment, I said it maybe in podcast before, but it was that moment she went from being, okay, she's the villain, we know she's the villain, she's got to die, everybody's up for her dying. And there was that moment, and I was like, I don't want her to die.
Yeah, I don't remember. Somebody else said it, that he humanized her.
Yeah.
yeah.
Like, we all just thought of her as just this evil person out to destroy the world any way she can. And then that happened, and he made us feel for this person that has that's made everybody's life a living hell.
Yeah. Because you can hate her, but at that moment, that was the first moment when you were able to understand where she was coming. Like, enough people have, done things that they wouldn't otherwise do because of love, and that's that. You just felt for her so much because the way he screamed, it was heartbreaking.
That might make me a cold son of a bitch because I still felt nothing but contempt for her.
That's fine. That's understandable. But
You've just blackness in your heart, Andrew, and we all know that.
Well, no, I think it was mostly because it's like, okay, I can't appreciate like that kind of establish her as a person. She has her motivation. She has, she's not doing evil for evil's sake. She's doing it for her and her husband. But it's like I personally can't respect someone who can sacrifice everyone else without sacrificing any of their own self. I don't know. That was kind of my point.
But she was going to sacrifice herself at the end, dude, when she was busy playing her own blood and things that needed a sacrifice. And okay, she'd lost everything, but
it kind of goes back to
it was
amazing that Matt created this character that we can all debate about. It's like that most people can feel sympathetic toward her, which I am in the minority in that. I'll concede that. Anyway, I want to pick Delilah as a favorite, but that's a good point, Paul.
Could she still come back as a lich? No.
She went in the lava, didn't she? She's gone.
Acid pits.
Oh. Wasn't she already one when she was alive? Oh, lich.
Nice, Mike.
No.
Mike, who's your favorite NPC?
Mine? I wanna go Black Powder Merchant just because it's the most obvious choice, but there's just so many. It's hard to narrow it down because I have so many different ones that are favorites for different reasons. For instance, most recently, gotta say Trish the Dish. I love Trish the Dish. She's
on my list.
And it's also funny to me too. The reason why I love the whole fan community is because he comes up with these NPCs and I kind of have an idea of what they might look like in my head, and then I see the pictures of them oh my god, that's awesome. I wish I remember who posted the picture. Who posted the picture of Trish?
There was a really good one of Trish.
Wait, someone drew a picture of Trish?
Oh yeah.
And there was
There was
cheering. It was like Trish the Dish, Trish the Dish.
I didn't see that.
How
chat,
can you
if
not?
You remember who it is? Write it over there.
Yeah, in chat, if you know who it is. Tell us.
Around Jess.
Maybe even a link if you can do that too. That'd be great.
Do that. But so he drew Trish the Dish, and I was like, oh my god, it's so cool. I love kind of what Andrew was saying. It's just crazy to think that we're talking about something that a guy completely made up for and some of them only appeared for what, a minute, 2 minutes tops, and they always stick with you. I think it's just so awesome. So I'd probably go Trish or Black Powder Merchant. Do the obvious choices. I'm sorry, is that funny?
It's just a Black Powder Merchant. I just think of.
Glorious.
Yeah.
Jess, you have one, or you have a list. How many do you?
I'm not going to go. There's obviously the Black Powder Merchant, who is so hilarious. He's so funny that I think he came back in that Critical Rejects episode because people requested him.
The Critical
Troll.
Troll.
So funny. The Critical Troll. I already mentioned that I love Sherry, who's sort of cold but warms up to Scanlan when he sings her that song. I love that. Trish the Dish is at the top, pretty close to the top of the list. She's my current NPC crush. She was amazing in Grog's interaction. No, you back up. Grog's interaction with her. Losing to her, and he goes off and splashes the beer in his face, pretending not to cry, but he gives it to her because he thanks her for her service and everything. That was so wonderful. But I have to say, this is probably not going to be popular opinion, that closest to my heart is Clarota, because let
her talk.
I'm sorry.
The whole Crag Hammer storyline is so near and dear to my heart because I started watching Geek and Sundry and just stumbled upon Critical Role right at the beginning that first week. I pretty much was I'm going to check out all these programs, and I can't explain that Critical Role. I had never played D&D. I only had I didn't even know a D20. I had no idea. and how immersed I am in it now is because of how quickly it captured me. And Clarota was the first like companion NPC, and he was with them for so long, and I was so distraught when he turned because I loved Clarota. I loved Clarota, and I'm still like so sad that he did what he did. I mean, I understand it. He's an illithid, though I didn't know what an illithid was back then. But Clarota is still like so important to me, and what he started, and Matt playing him, and that whole first storyline to me is.
He was the enemy within for like 4 or 5 weeks or something like that.
Yeah,
wasn't he?
and I understand, and even Keyleth and Vex, I think it was, who stumbled upon him on the carpet. Like, that was another thing to me that showed you how open the world was, because it's not like that was intended. Like, I think Matt even said later he wasn't expecting them to find Clarota at that moment, like, but they did, because they just went off exploring, and they brought him back to the boys, and they were just like, look what we found, because the boys were like, we're gonna keep going, and they're like, we found this incredibly useful character that has all the information we need. And I don't know, it really showcased like that whole storyline. Clarota as an NPC interacting with them when who made the bad pun and he mind slapped them?
That would be Vax.
Vax made the bad pun and he like mind slapped him. And even just the fact that they still have that little tin hat every time they mention it, I'm like, Clarota.
Squid love.
Clarota's betrayal was actually probably what got me first in the series, because my wife had already been watching, and when that happened, she was like freaking out about it for a solid 2 weeks. So, like, okay, after the first week is like, oh, this means a lot to you, and after the second week is like, okay, this sounds pretty intense. I have to see this. So, Clarota's probably the reason why I started watching the show.
Yeah.
John,
when he turned, I'm not over that.
And then they killed
It
him.
was like, you saw it happening, and I was like, no.
John, do you have a favorite?
It's not really easy to pick one.
It's not. That's why I'm going last.
Lucky you as the host. I mean, Black Powder Merchant got to be a good one. Briarwoods.
Did you like the hag, John?
I don't remember the hag. Was that the one in the tent?
Yeah.
Yes.
I liked Craghammer, the guy they gave the ale to. That was a good one. I liked the. Is that what it was? Orcus?
Or Balgus, the guy from in the very first episode?
Balgus?
Yes.
Balgus, yeah.
Ballsack?
Ballgag? Ballsack, that's what it was.
Ballgag? Come on, man.
You're going to say it wrong. Say it right.
I'm sorry, all right?
There are children watching.
Oh, I hope not.
Yeah, like the God damn you, Mike. Hold that up with the puppy, and I think she will actually physically die.
We don't have our cleric. Damn it.
I am.
Oh, good. Oh, good.
And I can bring her back as long as it's within like 5 seconds.
Oh, the lag, man. That's going to kill her.
Yeah. But but I think the confrontation between Craghammer and the rest of the group, like how Vax wanted to fill the vial or the whatever with the ale, And then Vex is like, I'll pretend to hurt my ankle. I'll pretend to hurt my ankle. And she like fakes. She's like, oh, ow, ooh, ow, ow.
I'm just playing a song. I'm not distracting you. I'm just playing a song.
Yeah. Oh yeah. Like I said, like there are a lot of good ones, and to be able to just be like, this is my favorite is just, I don't think it's possible. Mm-hmm. I really don't.
Yes, I agree.
Yeah, that's fair. And I'll try not to go for that answer. Because put that down now. Anyway. No, yeah, Craghammer was good. The dwarves. Reacting to Vox Machina does Craghammer. That was pretty good. Yeah. I do love... again, Mash is so good at reacting to everybody. What was the one that I had in my head? When Grog was speaking to the Groundbreaker, the head of the Church of Cord, how he was originally kind of defensive, but when Grog was forthright or whatever, how he kind of changed from hard to soft. Also, I have to give Matt credit for sprinkling clues in every single episode with like near meaningless, what appears to be meaningless hints, but you know, like the war going on, not Whitestone. Gosh, now I can't remember places.
Well, if you can't remember them, we're all screwed, suits. So.
I know, right?
Not
near
in Whitestone,
Fort Doxio.
Iman?
Iman,
outside of Iman. It was between Whitestone and it begins with a W.
Westrun?
But
Waterdeep.
Westeros.
I knew that was coming. I didn't see it. I knew said it.
Yeah. But no, about the talk of troops going out and warfare continuing and, you know, food production needed to be increased, or even casually mentioning, oh, the Briarwoods are in town. Okay, that's something we actually want to keep up with. Just how he can say everything so casually, and most of us can miss it if we're not paying attention.
Yeah, that's why I like going back and rewatching, trying to catch those two. I agree.
Yep. Okay. I think that covers Matt.
I mean, you would need like 5, 6, 7 episodes of podcast to cover all of Matt's stuff.
Yeah, for real though.
Yes, indeed.
Break down all the voices, break down all the characters,
indeed.
character moments.
Okay, well, let's move on from the role play aspect to the battle aspect. Favorite encounters. Since they've been through a lot of fights. Thank you, Mike, for the show.
No problem. That's what I do.
Thought you were watching the stream, man. No, yeah, let's go straight to the fights. Mike, what's your favorite fight?
I liked when they were sneaking around the Emberhold, and they walk past this big open room, and Matt's like, "Oh, you see something shining on the table," and of course Vex is like, "Oh my God, get it, it's the diamond," and they go to grab it, and it turns out that it's like nothing, and it's like the door is slammed, the lights go out. Fuck! It's just like, it's like they know immediately it's a trap. And I think it was what was it? There's a mind flayer, I think maybe a couple Duragar that heads up the trap. But like that was probably my favorite setup. But there's a lot of other ones too. But that one always sticks with me just because like it was the most genuine reaction from Liam. Because as soon as he says the door shut, just fuck. They knew they were in a fight. Yes. Indeed.
Jess?
I wanted to go a different way. I wasn't sure if, because I assume people would say like Kavarn and the Briarwoods and stuff like that. So I wanted to say, like, I don't know if it counts as an encounter, but when Grog went into the pit and fought Kern, the hammer, the first time, and it's just him and Matt describing what they're doing, and that, I think that was one of the first, like, really, like, viciously described, like, he's describing, like, ripping and tearing and biting and kicking, and I was just like, oh, this is horrible, but so good, like, like, I love that juxtaposition. Like, I was grossed out, but, like, so interested. And so once again, I don't know if that counts as an encounter, but I thought it was
totally
something
counts.
like different that I
think it would.
really, that first pit battle was really something.
Well, and it was also one of the first times, I was eating popcorn. If I had popcorn, I would have been eating it. But that was one of the first ones where we actually had a party loss, and it was still entertaining.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, that totally counts as an encounter. And as the chat points out, we also had actually Vex flashing her girly bits as inspiration. Yeah, that's a thing that happens.
It did nothing.
Girly
Did
bits.
not
I don't
help.
think that happened.
But it was something special.
Yeah, it didn't help either because they said it would be a distraction, but the crowd on the other side of the pit loved it.
And it was also, wasn't that also the first? That was one of the times Keyleth got dragged away and, like, locked up.
Oh, that was actually the second time. That was the second time. Wait, no, you're right, because I'm mixing up my times. Never mind. You're right.
It wasn't the first time that she, like, horribly charisma failed something, but I think it was one of the early times that she got actually locked away and they had to go, like, get her out.
I think that was the fourth time she's been arrested.
Fourth? Oh my god.
Second time on the show.
That was so good.
Classic Keyleth.
It's classic Keyleth.
Yeah.
John?
I'm very partial to Trial of the Take Part 2. The second episode where they went against Rymfang.
Ooh.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Rymfang.
That whole battle and how like you had Mary who turned around and talked to the golems and was like, "You've been under servitude under this dragon for so long. Now is your time to step up and fight against it." And she rolled really high and they went with it. And next thing you know, it was the party with the golems fighting against Rymfang. And then, of course, the famous, "How do you want to do this?" "Yes, I fucking can."
Oh yeah.
So, I mean, that whole encounter was definitely one of the probably the best ones they had. Just from the Percy went down. I think Scalen almost went down. Percy almost went down twice.
Right.
Oh because that was the one where Grog rage slid Scanlan across the ice
for a
to get him
natural
away from
20.
the fight. Yeah.
Yeah, that was amazing.
Yep.
Yeah, and actually you took mine because the Rymfang fight is so... See, that was one of those where I had the monster manual open. It's like, when is this thing going to die? And it's kind of the same thing, like the Kern fight. It could have been anybody could have fallen, and we didn't know, and it was really close, and the fight just kept going. And when it finally did, like between both Matt and Mary's description of it, I still tear up every time I hear it.
Oh yeah, just from the sheer awesomeness of it.
Yeah. Paul?
I loved that episode, but I loved the Slayer's take with Will Wheaton and Will Friedel. And it was for me, it was just it's almost like it was designed to be put Will Wheaton through his own perfect hell. And it was purely constructive. So he's being the dwarf. He's all buff. He's going to do things, and then he's swinging at rats who are kicking his ass. And it wasn't just one round; it was like 2 rounds, 3 rounds, and it was like all the rats are dead, and you've like managed to just about brain yourself with your own axe kind of stuff, and I thought, okay, it's going to get out of this, but then they went around the corner, and then there was people getting possessed, so half the party was going to turn on the other half of the party, and once you got through that, it was acid. And if you've seen the Acquisition Zinc stuff, Will Wheaton basically quit after dying in acid, pretty much, and he had so much stress in his life or whatever that he basically stepped back from the whole Acquisition Zinc thing. But the last thing that happened to him was the whole putting acid. And then they turn around the corner and there's nothing but acid. And he's immediately, and you saw it happen in his face, he immediately went into PTSD. And Matt reacted to that as a genuine thing. And he's like, what's going on? Somebody told me you liked acid. And it's like, no, somebody has fed you bum information to fuck up Will Wheaton. And now it's coming to fruition, and you're just seeing it's like you probably want to be friends with Will Wheaton, but possibly you've scared him off forever.
I think his dice rolls would have done that anyway.
Well, the dice rolls were immense and crazy, and just the fact that Matt went and says, okay, we'll take all your dice away and give you some new ones. And that helps not a jot.
He did roll a nat 20, though. You have to give him that. He did roll a nat 20.
That was the best reaction ever.
Yeah.
That was so
nat
good.
20, motherfucker!
Nobody really cared at that point, though. It's like the damage is done. So yeah, I think that remains my favourite character. I think it was maybe just for me as well, because I got into the whole Critical ReRoll thing quite heavily by that point, and I was immediately looking for stuff to catch up on something else to fill the gaps on days when it wasn't running. So I went through the whole Acquisition Zinc thing like maybe a week before that happened. So it was all fresh in my mind. So I was watching a whole different game to what everybody else was watching. I was like, oh no. So I'm amazed there wasn't a set walk off there. I really was.
I thought he was going to do it too.
Yeah.
Go and pull some comments from the chat. King Sundu points out the Bonefield fight for the amount of creative solutions to fighting in that terrain, and with the fully original monster that you cannot find in the monster manual. Which, yeah, that was kind of a nuts fight. We almost lost Trinket.
Yeah.
I'm under the impression then that was one that the chat voted on, although I'll be honest, I have no idea where people are actually voting for these things.
I remember I voted on the second Trial of the Take one. But I voted.
Yeah, I voted on the White Dragon as well. What they do is in the beginning when they're doing all the announcements, the mods throw a straw poll in the chat, then everybody votes, and then I'm guessing like Matt either sees it on his phone or Zach comes in and like gives him a piece of paper that says this is what you're fighting, and then he's got both options written out on those sheets of paper, and then he just hands over the one whatever that ever won. So,
got it. Okay. Let's see what else we got. Another mention about Felicia's disintegration. The reaction fighting the orcs and the giants were great, and also Felicia in general.
I love Felicia.
Yeah, it's funny. One of the things I wrote about her in the chat was when they first showed the giants, everyone had to do a Constitution check, and I think she just barely missed it. And it's like, I throw up. And it's like, it is the most adorable barfing sound. And then she did. She's like, I just love her so much.
You want to clean up her barf. That's how much you love her.
I'd do it. I would do it.
We know you would.
Few of us won't. Okay. Well, moving on from encounters to a similar topic. Favorite, how do you want to do this? Trademark of the show.
Yep.
I think John and I have already talked about my favorite goes back to the Rhyme Fang fight, which again, just Matt's description of that, and Mary, it's like, oh, this is my first time play D&D, and I'm getting into this, and I want to blow out his bowels with fire, and I want to be completely engulfed in flame. And Matt just takes the enthusiasm and just takes it to a whole nother level. Literally, I might add.
Yeah.
That was my moment too, so you stole it, so I'm gonna let you have it. But I just want to say, like, I have the only person I've met from Critical Role is Mary Elizabeth, and so I have a signed photo of, like, she commissioned Kit to make that picture of her killing Rhyme Fang, and so that's like the one real, like, other than t-shirts, Critical Role thing I have, and it's the picture, and she signed it, and she wrote, like, there's no writing on it, but she wrote, like, yes, I fucking can, like, and just signs it, and, like, that is up in my
It's gonna be so
Mary's
much better than writing anything else.
But really?
It's
Mike?
like, with love and kisses. No, yes, I fucking can.
I think going with my man love for Grog, I'm gonna have to go with the second Kern fight, because I still remember, like, usually I'm living on the East Coast. I usually can make it until about the break, and then by then it's about like 11 o'clock here, and I go to bed for work. And
11:30.
Yeah, and I watch it the next day after I got home from work. So remember, I came home from work. I'm like, oh, I'm tired. I'll take a nap, and I kind of laid down, had the thing going, and I'm watching the Kern fight, and I started laying down. And then, like, over time, I was, like, slowly just getting up and up until eventually, like, I was, like, sitting there, like, hunched over, like, staring at my computer screen. And I screamed so loud when he finally won that, like, my dog thought someone was in the house and, like, started barking crazy. Like, no, it's me. So, I'm sorry. Yes, that was the fight was amazing.
For
Keep
me,
on
it's
line.
like
John, go ahead.
the Rim Fang one. Again, this is hard for me to pick. You've got, like, the other Slayers take one with Vex slicing the Rakshas's throat. Kern, another one that really wasn't a big fight, but was still a how do you want to do this? Because like I said, I was watching other stuff earlier. When Grog was fighting the Umber Hulk, and when he had Scanlan in his mouth and he's shaking him, and then Grog, like, slices the Umber Hulk's like, jaw tendon, so it slacks and Scanlan falls out, and then Grog, like, bites the tongue and then grabs the back of it and pulls it out, and then he's got it dangling from him. And then he, like, steps inside of the jaw and just pushes until you hear a loud crack.
Oh, yeah.
And then he just, like, punches up and kills it. Yeah, that was definitely one of my favorites.
Any of Grog's kills are, like, amazingly, like, vicious. What was the one he turned to jelly? Does anyone remember the one I'm talking about?
The
Bahir. Where did they?
The Bahir.
The Bahir fight. He, like, just kept going. He's like, I want to turn it to jelly, and, like, they couldn't even get anything off the, like, I guess they did eventually get something off the body, but they did survival checks to try and get stuff off the body, but it was mushy jelly. Oh, Grog.
Yeah. A lot of Grogs, how do you want to do this, are
He's
good.
just so gratuitously violent.
Yeah.
But he's so happy doing it.
I know, that's what makes it so great.
Like,
Yeah, like I said, it goes back
I'm glad
to
you're happy, but that's disgusting.
it goes back to when he was when they were fighting the goblins, and it's like, well, they're running away in fear, but then Scanlan's like, well, can you get rid of them anyway? And he's like, well, it's like playing croquet at this point, so why not? So, and then he just, like, killed one. And Matt's like, you don't feel any resistance. You just hear an as the head flies away. So it's just like the type of person he is. He can be hilarious, but then kick your ass afterwards. So yeah.
Indeed.
Paul, you have one before we move on to the chat?
Yeah, I mean, I originally had Rhyme Fang, the same as everybody else seems to, but I think my my second one would be when it was Percy's and the rest of the team's chance for a commando raid, and I forget which Duke it was, but it was, that was when the smoke kind of appeared, properly, and he was busy emptying the pepper box into him. I've forgotten what his name is though.
Yeah, I think
because I can't remember any of those.
Vedmire was the one that Scanlan fought, I think, which was the
Yeah.
Goliath.
Yeah, and he survived.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Duke Vedmire survived.
Yeah.
Carrie and Stone fell the first time we saw the smoke? Is that what you're referring to?
I think so. I can't remember, to be honest with you.
Yeah, he was the first member on the list to be killed.
Was that
Yeah.
the one where like Vex was near him and she like held his hand and told him to take the mask off?
Yeah, I think so.
I think that was Anders. Okay, so
Was
Anders.
that Anders?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, I think that was.
But that was the first one when the smoke was like properly out, I think, and it was like Percy come back.
I mean, you want to talk Percy's? There's also Against the Broker,
Ooh, yes.
Oh Lord.
where he
That
completely
was-
lost it, and that was the Your Soul is Forfeit.
Oh
Oh,
yeah,
that's the point. Did he get the head? Do you want to do that
that's a
on
great
that?
person moment.
He did.
It was
He
quite
got the how do you
scary.
want to do it?
Yeah, he did. Because he just kept firing. He kept firing. That was the one where he just kept firing even after he ran out of bullets.
Mhm.
Yes.
But was the broker on the paper box?
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, he wasn't on the pepper box, but
Yeah.
Well, no, he wasn't on the
Oh,
pepper box.
Right,
No.
right. He was not on the list, but yeah.
Yeah.
He was the
Yeah,
first
Because they
sign
just
that
fought the
something might not be
Barwoods,
fine
and
with
he was
Percy.
still like all worked up.
Yeah. That was
So then he lost it.
that was
Still hulked out.
that was Lilith's background for
Yes.
Kit
Yeah.
while she was there.
Yeah, because that was who her sisters sent after her.
Yes. And then Kit rose the broker back from the dead and had him go back to his sister,
Yeah,
which was awesome.
that's awesome. Yeah, that's amazing.
Should have done that with the old lady. Cleaned up 2 messes.
oh god.
God, the old lady.
Poor Edna. Oh yeah.
Oh yeah, not doing that. Oh my God, too good.
Oh, moving on to the chat. We got a number of how do you want to do this. Everyone's very fond of Scanlan's vicious mockeries.
Mhm.
You ugly.
Anytime he
You
kills
ugly.
someone with words, how good is that? Like, how good do you have to be to kill someone with an
I li-
insult?
I literally talk them to death. It's like a reverse suicide negotiator.
Oh god.
You want to do this? Oh
Jesus.
gosh.
You have to be Paul Muad'Dib, and you have to ride a worm before you can do it.
Oh, that was dark.
Yeah. Dear. Split floor in 2.
Further going down the list, we have Tiberius is mega fireballs against the Hydra that also took out Trinket.
Drink it. Oh, buddy.
But they got the kill. That's what matters.
Buddy.
Oh, buddy.
Oh, buddy.
I love when she says that.
Me too. Like I said, the combination of that and when she when she tries to roar his Trinket,
Yeah.
it's just this kind of like high pitched but kind of low voice, like something like that.
She has a special voice she makes when she's asking if he can do stuff. Like she's like, can he use his claw? He's gonna bite and he's gonna like, or
She talks about him like I
Using
talk about
cute
my
powers.
Yeah. To her, Trinket looks like Mike's dog.
Yes.
So that's what she is.
yeah,
Oh, chilly
so
baby.
cute.
He's more baby.
I mean, another how do you want to do what you can talk about is the one I mentioned earlier with the Trinket Grog combo on Orthax,
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
biting the head off. Trying to think of what other ones there are. There are so many of them.
I've got a list. Check out Crit Roll stats, guys.
Hey.
Shameless plug.
Yeah, shameless plug.
It's a good list too. Kind
It's
of
a
inaccurate
really
sometimes,
great,
but
like,
still a
I
good
was-
list.
I was trying to remember one of Scanlan's songs, and I went on there and saw you have all his songs for every episode, what time they're at. I was like, holy crap, this list is amazing.
Yeah.
That was my favorite list I've seen on your site so far.
We also have a couple of volunteers. Also, somebody created a playlist on Spotify with all the songs that we could,
Oh,
get on
amazing. I didn't know
awesome.
that.
Sing. And someone
I need to find
also,
that.
it's on the same page, and there's also a YouTube link to a playlist of all the times that Scanlan's ever sang. So
That's great.
Amazing.
yeah, we got fun stuff. But
Did we go through all the
plug-
ones that were in the
Check it out on Twitter at Critical Role Stats.
chat?
The Nat 20 the Nat 20 list is awesome. Like I went through episode 1 to episode 23, and just like every time they roll it, you can just see them light up. It's like okay, I gotta roll this natural 20. And
Yeah.
it doesn't matter what it's for. It doesn't matter what it's for. If it's a natural 20, they're like, yes.
Yes, indeed.
I need to watch the natural one. How many natural ones were in Will Wheaton's episode?
I don't want to talk about
I
it.
actually. That was actually one of the first episodes where I sat down and paid attention to every single one of Wheaton's rolls. He had
Wow.
6 natural ones on his own, so he is the decided leader for the entire show.
I saw someone mention in the chat, if we have a little bit more time, we can always our favorite guest star.
Oh yeah,
So like, who is obviously there's only been what, technically 5,
5.
because the 4 from the 2 players take, and then Kit.
Kit. That's it, right?
Yeah.
You can count Vin Diesel.
We can talk. We can. Yeah. Oh well.
Well, and if you wanted
Theoretically.
to count the rejects. But I mean, they're not canon within the storyline.
Yeah.
I mean, we can talk guests. Favorite guest moments.
Felicia Day.
Yeah.
Ah, you
How am I
stop
not
stealing
right?
things from
That was
me!
hard.
Deal with it, Jess.
Ugh.
Deal with it.
Thank you, Anonymous.
Yes.
Will Friedel for the snogging Keyleth and mic drop.
I kind of wanted to go with Friedel as well.
That
Just
rhymes.
yeah.
Hey.
Just based on the fact alone that was his very first time playing Dungeons and Dragons, and you could see he was having a ball. He was having so much fun. He was getting into the character. He every time he rolled a natural 20. When he rolled a natural 20, he's like, "Yes, I rolled a natural 20." And then again, pulling that out of his ass to at the end, because he's just been back and forth with Keyleth, and all of a sudden he just pulls her in and plants one on her, and it's just something nobody was expecting, and I just I feel like that's the epitome. It's like, well, I don't know if I can get a Dungeons and Dragons. Show him those 2 episodes and be like, see that he's never even played before, and he's having a great time. So
I wonder about that for these guys coming on, because is it like a thing where actually they've got their part because they've got their character sheet and maybe got a bit of background and stuff like that, but there's no director, there's no guy saying this is what you're going to do. So maybe it's like if you spend a lot of time being told what to do, and then suddenly you've got this like heady liberation, and you just go mad. You just go charge into it headlong. I don't know.
well, it's all based on the character development. A lot of people, when they think, okay, I'm going to play this character. What's this character like? You have to think about that all in your head. And then that's pretty much what it is. It's got nothing to do with, okay, do this, do that, do this, do that. It's, I'm going to take this character and I'm going to roll with it, and I'm going to do what I think this character would do. And that's what Will Friedle did. It was just...
In an actor's life, that's opposite from what they would do as a job, because it'd be, this is the scene, this is what you're doing, this is where you're standing, this is what you're going to say, this is how you're going to say it, and
Well,
You know,
yeah, I mean, you can
There's
say
no
that,
action.
but again, they also have to think as the character when they say those. So you can have a line written down that says, it's like, "I'm here to kick ass." You could have, someone scream it and be like, "I'm here to kick ass." Then you could just have someone say, "I'm here to kick ass." And it just depends on how the character would say it. You have to learn the character before you can say the lines. So yes, it's different than what it would be in, a show compared to Critical Role, because they are free to say whatever they want compared to, whatever a line says. But it's to me, it's still the same, just with a tiny bit more freedom. And that's my tangent. Have fun. Can you tell I know that voice too many times?
I was gonna say Felicia Day.
Yeah, go ahead.
Because
Too late.
no one plays awkward nerd like her. Like I loved, right from the get go. I think she fell or dropped something, at one
she
point
tripped.
her shawl fell off or something like that, and she just just happens to have the rich uncle and doesn't understand why certain things work out for her because of money. She bought that guy the suit of armor, I guess.
Yeah.
And he slept with her. And I love any time that she felt the need to go through and fight people over her leadership, because she was in her head she was in charge and everyone else was sort of just letting her be in charge. But in the same way that John said Will Friedle, I'm going to say Mary, because it was also Mary's first time, if I'm not mistaken. She had never played Dungeons & Dragons before, and I feel like you never would have known that watching her play. She was so immediately her character, and she was amazing, and the depth and level that you got out from her immediately. I feel like she never left character almost, except when she was making a different silly voice, which was also really good. But yeah, and then her epic, how do you want to do this at the end? How else, how more perfect to end your first time playing D&D than to get that epic, how do you want to do this at the end? And I think she's said in interviews since, I think someone else was talking about a panel she did where someone was like, "What's something you regret?" And she was like, "I once turned down the opportunity to play in a weekly D&D game," or something like that. I think she was once invited to play D&D with them and she didn't.
It was actually Critical Role, if I remember correctly.
Was it?
Critical Role.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. I think she was sort of invited to do it and she didn't. And I think there was a panel someone was talking about where she mentioned she didn't outright say it was Critical Role, but she said she regretted turning down the possibility of playing a regular D&D game.
Well,
and I'm pretty sure it was Critical Role.
She got the hit, the endorphin hit. They say a gambler's made on the first time he gambles, and if he wins, that's it. He's lost. Everybody else loses loads and says, "I'm never doing that shit again." So I think maybe she did it, enjoying it, having a great time, and then she won, and she was basically superstar by the end of it. So there's no doubt in my mind that she's hooked now.
Yeah, did you see what she
she's probably texting Matt every day. Can I come back? Can I come back? Can I come back? Can I come back?
Yeah, I don't know if you guys saw, but she actually she commissioned Joma to make art for I think it was for so far as Pike, Grog, and Vex, where they mixed their characters on Critical Role and their video game characters. So it's Pike Ellie from Last of Us, it's Grog Thor, and Vex Spartan Vale. And you could you can tell she's still hooked. She even came the next week at the next Trial to Take episodes when she wasn't even in it.
She still live tweets. She's a critter. Anytime the critters are live tweeting, she's live tweeting. She's watching.
One of us.
She's clearly hooked. Yeah.
Yeah.
I also
she's as big a fan as all of us, I think.
I want to point out her face when she rolled the Hellish Rebuke to finally finish off Rhymefang, and everybody's you could see everybody's huh, and then Matt's "How do you want to do this?" Everybody's yeah, and they're trying to hug Mary and shaking her and shit, and she's just Wait, what? And then, and then she's like, you killed it. How do you want to do this? And she's like, oh my god. And it was so good.
Yeah, Mary's awesome.
Yes.
We all love Mary.
Also, apparently, she's really good friends with Matt, not Mercer, Abernathy, because they've they've gone to conventions at the same time. Her obviously there is the voice actress, but Matt just as a normal person.
Yeah,
And,
I don't hate Matt for that at all. No.
And like,
Yeah, him and
For
Levy.
the audience.
Him and Levy made
Yeah,
her
for-
shirts and took them to the convention, I think. And
Not bitter, not jealous, nothing.
For the audience, this is a whole conversation you guys aren't privy to.
Yeah, but Matt's a really great DM though. He does really well.
Yes. Even when tortured by us.
he does really well. Yes, he's very good at it.
Matt, if you're watching, you're so great.
You're so great.
Need more crates.
Well, he's very, very sick at the moment, and that's why he couldn't be here today.
Yeah.
And I think
Yeah, he
that's
was
the
supposed to be
karma
here.
for this whole, Mary thing catching up to him now. So I feel like vindicated. So,
All poison.
you pay the price, man.
with lipstick, possibly. Paul, what were you doing?
Jess, drop it. Drop that.
Okay,
Right now.
with
Okay.
that, I think we've
Oh, yeah.
successfully gone on a wild enough tangent and covered 2015's
Sorry.
history of Critical Role well enough. Thanks to everybody in the chat for staying with us. Mike, that's backwards.
No, it wasn't. No, and it's right for me.
Mike is backwards. We know that.
No, because my thing's whatever.
Come on, guys. I'm trying to close it out here.
I'm done. Turn the stream off. Guys, are mean.
All right, guys. Damn it. Okay, so Critical Role comes back this Thursday, January 7th. Everybody's very excited about that. We'll continue the regular podcast next week once the show comes back. I'm sure plenty of us will be live tweeting as we can. But yeah, looking forward to that. Looking forward to the show coming back. Thanks to all the critters for making the hiatus bearable. And, love all you guys. Thanks for tuning in. And we hope to have you guys listening in for the next podcast.
I don't have to edit this.
Bye.
You don't have to